They trusted me. I was a nurse, after all, a healer. But they didn't know the darkness behind the white uniform, and they never saw it coming. My name is Jane Toppan, and this is my disturbing story. It all started in the late 1800s in Massachusetts. I wasn't like other kids. I was drawn to death. I wanted to understand it, control it. But I couldn't just watch. I had to feel it. As a nurse, I had the perfect cover. No one questioned me when my patients began slipping away. I was just Jolly Jane, always smiling, always caring, until I wasn't. I used morphine and atropine to play my little game. I'd inject them, watch their breaths slow, then bring them back, just to do it all over again. It wasn't enough to kill. I needed to be there, watching, feeling them slip away while I held their lives in my hands. Between the 1890s and 1901, I killed over 31 people in places like Cambridge, Lowell, and other areas around Boston. The elderly, the sick, they were easy targets. I even killed my close friends. It wasn't about hate or revenge. It was about the thrill, the power. But my biggest mistake? I got careless. I poisoned a wealthy family, the Davises, and it caught their attention. The bodies were exhumed, and traces of poison were found. In 1901, I was finally arrested. In court, I confessed. I told them, I killed 31 people and I liked it. It wasn't just a game anymore. It was my life. They called me insane, but I wasn't crazy. I knew exactly what I was doing. They sent me to Taunton State Hospital for the rest of my life. Some say I was born evil, and others believe that the system that let me kill made me this way.
Jane Toplin, born Honora Kelly, March 31st, 1857, Boston, Massachusetts. Status: deceased. Died August 17th, 1938, age 81, Taunton, Massachusetts. Other names: Jolly Jane. Motive: unclear, possibly sexual fetishism and or sadism. Criminal charge: unaliving, 12 counts. Verdict: not guilty by reason of insanity. Penalty: involuntary commitment to a mental hospital for life. Victims: 12 confirmed, 31 confessed, more than 100 suspected. Span of crimes: 1895 to 1901. Country: U.S. State: Massachusetts. Date apprehended: October 29th, 1901, 123 years ago. Jane Toplin was born Honora Kelly on March 31st, 1854, in Boston, Massachusetts, the daughter of Irish immigrants. Her mother, British Kelly, died of tuberculosis when she was very young. Her father, Peter Kelly, was well known as an eccentric and abusive alcoholic, nicknamed by those who knew him Kelly the Crack, as in crackpot. In later years, Kelly was said to have sewn his own eyelids shut while working as a tailor. Wow. In 1860, only a few years after his wife's death, Peter surrendered his two youngest children, 8-year-old Delia Josephine and 6-year-old Honora, to the Boston Female Asylum, an orphanage for indigenous female children, who never saw them again. Documents from the asylum note that Delia and Honora were rescued from a very miserable home. No records exist of their experiences during their time in the asylum, but reportedly Delia became a prostitute while their older sister Nellie, who was not committed to the orphanage, was committed to an insane asylum. In November 1862, less than 2 years after being abandoned by her father, Honora was placed as an indigent servant in the home of Miss C. N. Toppan of Lowell, Massachusetts. Though never formally adopted by the Toppans, Honora took on the surname of her benefactors to distance herself from her former family and eventually became known as Jane Toppan. The original Toppan family already had a daughter, Elizabeth, whom Honora was on good terms. Hmm, that's weird. In 1885, Jane began training to be a nurse at Cambridge Hospital. Unlike her early years, where she was described as brilliant and terrible, at the hospital she was well liked, bright, and friendly, earning her the nickname Jolly Jane. Once she became close with the patients, she picked her favorite ones who were normally elderly and very sick. During her residency, Jane used her patients as guinea pigs in experiments with morphine and atropine. She altered their prescribed dosages to see what it did to their nervous systems. However, she spent considerable time alone with patients, making up fake charts, medicating them to drift in and out of consciousness, and even getting into bed with them. Ugh. Toplan was recommended for the prestigious Massachusetts General Hospital in 1889, where she claimed several more victims before being fired the following year. She briefly returned to Cambridge, but was soon dismissed for administering opiates recklessly. Jane then began a career as a private nurse and flourished despite complaints of petty theft. Jane began her poisoning spree in earnest in 1895 by unaliving her landlord, Israel Dunham, and his wife. In 1899, she unalived her foster sister Elizabeth with a dose of strech- strychnine. In 1901, Jane moved in with an elderly Aldine Davis and his family in Catumont to take care of him after the death of his wife Mattie, who Jane had unalived. Within weeks, she unalived Davis, his sister Edna, and two of his daughters, Minnie and Genevieve. The surviving members of the Davis family ordered a toxicology exam on Minnie, which determined that she had been poisoned. Local authorities assigned a police detail on Jane to watch her. On October 29, 1901, she was arrested for unaliving. By 1902, she had confessed to 31 unalivings. Soon after the trial, one of William Randolph Hearst's newspapers, the New York Journal, printed what was purported to be Jane's confession to her lawyer, claiming that she had unalived more than 31 people and that she wanted the jury to find her sane so she could eventually have a chance at being released. Jane insisted upon her own sanity in court, claiming that she could not be insane if she knew what she was doing and knew that it was wrong. But nevertheless, she was declared insane and committed on June 23, 1902, in the Barnstable County Courthouse. She was found not guilty by reason of insanity and committed her life in a Taunton Insane Hospital. She died there on August 17, 1938, at the age of 81. Victims Jane identified are Israel Dunham, patient, died on May 26, 1895, age 83. Lovely Dunham, patient, died on September 19th, 1897, and 87, at age 87. Elizabeth Bronham, foster sister, died on August 29, 1899, age 70. Mary McNair, patient, died on December 29, 1899, age 70. Florence Calkins, housekeeper for Elizabeth, died on January 15th, 1900, age 45. Why would she kill the housekeeper? William Ingram, patient, died on January 27th, 1900, age 70. Sarah Connors, patient and friend, died on February 11th, 1900, age 48. Edna Bannister, sister-in-law of Elizabeth, died on June 19th, 1901, age 77. Mattie Davis, wife of Allen Davis, died on July 4th, 1901, age 62. Man, oh my God. Genevieve Gordon, daughter of Alden and Mattie Davis, died on July 30th, 1901. Alden Davis died on August 8th, 1901, age 64. But how old was Genevieve? Because it don't say her age. Mary Gibbs, daughter of Alden and Mattie, died on August 13th, 1901, age 40. Man, she was deadly.